Hi, my name is Dana and this is my Finance 551 project. For this project we will be examining two different industries of business, in this case home improvement and automotive, with 5 companies in each industry over a period of 5 years. The overall goal for this project is to select the best company from each industry and then the best overall company. And to do this, we will do a ratio analysis, which we will use short-term solvency measures, which will tell us how well a company can afford its short-term debt, followed by leverage, which tells us how much debt the company has and determine if it can afford it. Asset efficiency determines if the company can turn over their assets in a profitable manner. Profitability measures will tell us if the company is profitable relative to its peers. And then there's market value, prices to earning, and market to book. And then there will be EVA. The first industry we will do is home improvement, which includes Home Depot, Lowe's, Restoration Hardware Holdings, Tractor Supply Company, and Williams-Sonoma. Home Depot and Lowe's in particular focus on home improvement, which primarily includes construction equipment such as paint, wallpaper, drywall, lumber, but it also includes more mundane things like light bulbs. Restoration Hardware and Williams-Sonoma are more home furnishing or home decor, focusing more on furniture and kitchen supplies and also light bulbs. And there's Tractor Supply Company, which focuses more on farming maintenance, from working on their equipment to fences, but it also does general maintenance, anything for the home, like light bulbs. First up is the liquidity ratio, which will tell us if the company can afford their any debt that shows up suddenly in the short term. Here, the current ratios are pretty high. The Lowe's is relatively low, and Williams-Sonoma, Restoration, and Tractor Supply Company are pretty high. Next is the quick ratio. This removes inventory, and as you can see, the lines fall a great deal, indicating that this industry has a lot of inventory, the exception being Williams-Sonoma, though this appears to be changing in recent years. Next is cash. This indicates how much cash the company has. The more cash, the better ability to pay off any short-term debt. Williams-Sonoma in the past could do this very well, though this capability is decreasing in recent years, while Restoration has been increasing, though they're all very low. Next is leverage, which determines how much debt the company has, the industry in general. Tractor Supply Company is very low, while Home Depot is on the rise, and in general it appears that the industry is relatively stable and with only a few companies on the rise. Next is debt capacity, times interest earned. This determines how well a company could pay back any debt that it has. You'll see that Home Depot and Lowe's are actually very high, while Restoration is all over the place, even dipping into the negatives. You also notice there's only 3 lines. This is because Tractor Supply Company and Williams-Sonoma did not have any interest. And this was either because the website didn't have it or the company didn't have it, in which case that's kind of inefficient because they could be using that money to make even more money. Next is tax burden, which is very stable, almost unchanging, with the exception to Restoration. Also, tax burden makes up the 3 ratios of profitability, which will be coming later. The next is interest burden. As you can see, there's only 3 lines because the other two companies did not have any interest. And this is also very unchanging with the exception to Restoration. Next is operating margin. That is very stable with a slight increase, exception of restoration, which has been bouncing all over the place, though appears to be getting better. Operating margin is one of the few things that a manager can affect, so it's possible that in the last few years, restoration has improved because it has new management. Next is profit margin, which is what the three ratios make up. Restoration is still bouncing all over the place with gradual improvement. Lowe's is unusually low, with the exception to restoration, while overall it appears that the industry is on the rise, with Home Depot being the greatest of them. Next is asset efficiency. Tractor Supply Company has significant advantage over everyone with its ability with asset efficiency. And Lowe's is unusually low, though not too far out of the industry norm. And Restoration Hardware appears to be declining with its asset turnover. Next is return on assets. Tractor Supply Company is again very high. Restoration is very low. Lowe's is rather low, while Williams-Sonoma is declining and Home Depot is on the rise. Next is return on equity. Restoration is bouncing in between negatives and positives. Home Depot has risen significantly in the past year, from 2014 to 2015, while the other three remain relatively stable with a slight increase. Next is PE ratio. This may look low, but that's only due to Restoration Hardware being very unusual and throwing everything out of whack. You can actually see that this is in the 20s, which is very high. And you'll also note that this change for price earning for restoration corresponds with 2013 and 2015, which is when they started doing better. So it's possibly due to a change of management, though its decline is worrisome if that was the case. Next is the market to book value. Home Depot has left everyone in its dust and been on a steady increase, while Tractor Supply Company has leveled out and the rest of the industry is slowly rising. Next is EVA. All these companies are positive with the exception of Restoration Hardware, and Home Depot is of the highest. So the industry favorite is going to be Home Depot. It has the highest leverage, the highest ability to afford that leverage, the highest profit margin, decent asset turnover, a highest return on equity, a high market book ratio, and a positive EVA.